is Cassandra and I've been on a 5-month high school exchange year with EF to County Cork, Ireland. As you're going to experience so much funny stuff during the exchange, I wanted to share with you some of my funniest stories. Obviously, throughout your exchange, you're going to experience a lot of stuff. There are going to be a lot of hilarious situations, or probably they're caused simply by language difficulties or other stuff, but always keep in mind to be able to laugh about yourself, and everyone makes mistakes, it's only human. So the first thing I kind of wanted to share with you is a story of my little host brother. So I had a 4-year-old host brother and he loved superheroes. So one day he came up to me and he said, "Captain Mercat." And he said, "Repeat it, tell me how it's called." And I was like okay. And I said, "Captain Mercat." He was like, no, I mean Captain Mercat." And he repeated it 1,000 of times and I always said Captain Mercat until I actually realised he meant Captain America and he couldn't pronounce it. That was a hilarious moment for me and I'm probably never going to forget that. So another good story is actually about cheese. I do eat a lot of cheese over here in Austria, and I was telling another Austrian exchange student how much I missed the cheese from back home. Obviously I had cheese in Ireland too, I had a lot of cheddar, but it was a bit different. And it was before class and I told that girl how much I missed the cheese back home, and suddenly everyone was really silent and they were just like looking at me, asking themselves whether I'm a bit weird. And the girl walked over to me and she was like, "You do realise we have cheese over here in Ireland too?" I was laughing so hard and it was actually really complicated to explain how huge the section is we have in supermarkets over here, only filled with cheese. And I think they were just like all thinking I'm obsessed with it. Another good story I want to share with you is one that happened within my host family again. It was me, my host mom, and basically my host granny who came over from Cork City. As she lived in Cork City, she had a pretty strong accent and she was talking so fast. Me, my host mom, and my host granny were going on about something. I don't know what it is to that day. And they were suddenly starting to laugh. And I couldn't hold back, I just had to laugh with them, no matter what they were actually talking about. And after 10 minutes of laughing that I nearly cried, they asked me, "Did you actually understand?" And I just looked at them, bursting into laughter again and said, "No, I don't have a clue." Another funny situation that happened to me was in school when we were in the computer room for the first time. We all got a task to do and everyone started working. And I sat in front of my computer and I couldn't find the button to turn it on. It just wouldn't work. So I went to the next computer and it didn't work either. And I went to the next one until I realised there must be something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. From behind, someone whispered and said, "Cassandra, you need to turn off the button underneath the table." So I literally crawled down the table to find those buttons. That was a really embarrassing moment. But looking back at it, it was really funny. Something else that happened to me in school was at the very beginning, because we all got journals where we would have to write in our homework, and as well the teachers would write in if we had forgotten homework or if we had done something during course. And we were always supposed to carry those journals with us. But one thing I couldn't understand was why a lot of students went up to the teacher with their journal and then just went out to the classroom. I didn't understand what's going on. And no one asked to go to the bathroom. So when I actually needed to go to the bathroom once, I didn't really dare to raise my hand and ask for it. And probably a week later I actually realised that you have to sign your journal and take it with you to the bathroom. You don't just have to raise your hand. This is so funny. I couldn't believe it, and the first time I actually took this journal with me to the bathroom, I felt so awkward, but as well so funny. As I said, you're probably gonna have a lot of hilarious moments, simply with language difficulties. For example, I once was talking to my host dad and I was talking about muscles, but indeed I actually said muscles. And I was just rumbling on. He said, "Wait, what are you on about? Are you on about muscles?" And I was like, yeah, sure. And he burst into laughter. I couldn't understand it at first, and he was like, "It's called muscles, not muscles." Something else that I actually think is so funny, as I'm an ambassador now myself, is the first time I encountered ambassadors was at a trip with EF to London to Hull International Business School. I met Sean there, who is a really good friend of mine now, and at first I couldn't understand why he was always talking in the past about his exchange. I was just looking at him and thinking, he's a bit weird, why is he not using the present, until I actually realised that they're ambassadors. I couldn't understand, and I've never heard about that before. And the last thing I want to share with you is as well something really funny that happened to me with my host mum. It was in summer on a really hot summer day after we had barbecue, and we ate so much, but late at night we actually both got hungry again and we're making wraps and we're just messing around, and for some reason my host mum ended up having a wrap on her face and I took a photo of it, and that was such a funny moment. I love to look back because it makes me so happy. So if you go on an exchange, you definitely gather so many memories of the funniest moments in your entire life. I would love if you share them with me. You can write them down in the comments, you can send me messages or whatever. I would love to hear your stories. Obviously there are much more funny stories I experienced, but it's really hard to select. There are loads of little moments that just make you happy every day. And something really important to take into account when something embarrassing happens to you is that looking back at it, it might not be that embarrassing, but simply funny, and try to be able to laugh about yourself. Don't take everything too seriously. It happens to everyone and everyone makes mistakes. It's only human. So those are one of my favourite funny moments I experienced. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!